The under-18 season was off and running on Easter Thursday at the Noarlunga Oval. The Tigers travelled down south with a new coach at the front of the bus. Tony Bamford's time at the Magpies came to an end in October, and it wasn't long before he joined South Adelaide as the under-18 coach. Bamford has some work ahead of him. With just 2 wins all season, the Panthers finished second to bottom in 2012. This year they looked pretty good, but Glenelg looked better. Once the ground staff managed to turn off the sprinklers, the Tigers unleashed Ned Brooks. In his first game for the Tigers, the Westminster College youngster started up front, then moved to centre half-back, rustling up 6 kicks for his team. But by far the best for the Bays was Alex Neil Bullen from the Sacred Heart College. Alex spent the entire pre-season with the seniors, but just missed out on a reserve selection for round 1. But it won't be long before he gets his call-up. His tackling and desire for the ball were on display for all to see. Making the move up from Mount Gambier was Josh Woodall. He's resettled in Tigerland for the season and he looks like he's here to stay. As an inside midfielder, Josh was competitive to say the least. Also competitive was Billy Stretch, the son of former Melbourne Best and Fairest winner Stephen Stretch. When he was just 14 years old, the Demons took a keen interest in Billy in 2010. Might not be long before we see him in the red and blue. Having won 6 Best and Fairest awards for the Henley Sharks, Billy was Glenelg's leading possession getter last weekend with 2 goals to start the year. For South, Ben Heaslip impressed his new coach. His 4 goals came from just 8 kicks. Ben played centre half forward for the entire game, not a bad test for his endurance. And voted number 1 on the day was the Panthers' number 1, Caleb Daniel. Part of the under-18 academy, the 16-year-old from Encounter Bay might not be big in stature, but he's big in talent. 16 kicks and 9 handballs for Caleb. He did his very best to give Tony Bamford a dream start to the season, but it wasn't to be. With 8 players in the team that had never played SANFL football at any level, it was a tough task for the Panthers. The Tigers were too fast, too efficient, and in the end they scored more goals, 10 more. Finishing bottom of the under-18 ladder in 2012, Central District ended the 2013 season with limitless potential and enormous expectations, safe in the knowledge that things couldn't get any worse than last year. Surely. On Easter Thursday, under the expert guidance of Matt Krieg, the son of 82-game wingman Graham and nephew of former club champion Peter, the Central District under-18 team was in good hands. But it was Westie's day in more ways than one. Setting a bunch of records, the Bloods pulverised the Dogs in a demonstration of hard work, teamwork and good work. West's 28 goals, 19 was their highest ever score in the under-18 competition. The 169-point margin, the biggest they've ever known, and Hassan Ahmat Watkins' 11 goals, 5, also an under-18 record. From the Goodwood Saints, Ahmat Watkins could have had 17 or 18 goals by the end, but some unselfish play in and around the goal square gave his teammates a chance to shine. Hassan has been part of West's junior development program for the last 3 years, and the investment is certainly paying off. One name that kept popping up in 2012 was this guy, Ryan Dykesman. From Cabra College, it was little wonder Ryan won the under-18 medal last year. Ryan wasn't expected to start in the under-18 team on Thursday, but the fact he did speaks volumes about the strength of Westie's reserves and league teams. His 42 possessions in this match started him on the road to yet another potential medal. And only just 17 from the Blackwood Football Club, Jack Zessers played his breakout game and immediately got noticed. Jack is the son of Australian World Cup medium pacer Andrew Zessers from back in the late 80s. Jack's focus is on the oval-shaped ball, much to the delight of the Bloods faithful. Jesse Watchman won't forget round 1 for a while, that's if he could remember it in the first place. Concussed and confused, he spent the rest of the afternoon on the sick list. The Dogs' only goals came in the first and final quarters from Bradley Culvert and Giles O'Driscoll, but there will have been a bit of soul-searching out at Elizabeth over Easter. Quite a baptism for Dogs coach Matt Krieg. The Bloods by a whopping 169 points at the Ponderosa. The Magpies under-18s managed to finish outside the 5 last season. Under new coach Mark Clayton, this side is possibly destined for great things in 2013. Clayton has been with the Magpies since he was just 13 years old, before he started his league career in 1997 with 228 games to follow. And his boys followed him last Saturday all the way to a win over Norwood. Always a good way to start the season. Best for Port was Declan Hamilton, a junior from the Paraka Football Club. A member of Port's junior development program, Declan played across half-back and then made his presence felt up forward, where he kicked a couple of very welcome goals. At the other end of the age scale is Matt Fogden. One of Port's overage players, Matt was pilfered from Norwood during the break, and it looks like the move to Alberton has agreed with him. Matt played across half-forward and proved himself worthy of the occasion. The goal of the round went to young Indigenous prodigy Josh Pitson from the Tea Tree Gully Football Club. That's one for the album. Nathan Sermon, one of Ross Trevor College's finest exports, lost weight and gained fitness, speed and endurance in the off-season. Nathan now boasts a 14-beat test and a sub-3 second 20-metre sprint. And also from Ross Trevor is bottom major Cameron Tiggerman. At 190 centimetres he uses his height to good advantage, but he backs it up with speed and agility. But last year's under-16 premiership is now just a distant memory for Cameron. Because this was Port's day. Coach Mark Clayton showed that he means business. It was the Magpies by 36 points over Norwood. The reigning premiers started the new season where they left off last year. Coach Shane Grimm has his team finely tuned, and while the conditions didn't really suit Champagne football, the Eagles looked the goods for another stab at the trophy in 2013. Best on ground for the home side was tall man Cameron Giles. At 193 centimetres, Cameron looks down on most of his opponents in more ways than one. Part of the 2013 Under-18 Academy, Cameron turns 18 in about a month. He gathered 19 kicks and 12 handballs in this match, a fine effort. Kicking goals and loving it was Tasman Fitzgerald. Even taller than Giles, Tasman from Ross Trevor College kicked 4 goals last Saturday, just the second time he's done that at this level. Having left behind the farm in Kyancutter, he's made a home for himself at the Eagles. Joseph Senior from the Henley Sharks Football Club also had a great start to the season. As an overage player recovering from a knee reconstruction, Joseph certainly looks fit. He was the Eagles' leading possession getter with 40 disposals. For Sturt, Matthew Langridge from Sacred Heart was enjoying the move up from the under-16s. His 15 kicks and 15 sharp and quick handballs netted him the best on-ground tag for round 1. His brother Nicholas finished Year 12 last year, and he's learning a lot from his older sibling. Jared Dooney is finding the transition from rugby challenging. Best and fairest for Pembroke, Jared rolled his ankle in the first quarter but played on to finish the game with some serious swelling coming up by Monday morning. 7 of Sturt's team had never played SANFL football before last week, and Alex Oddie from the Mount Barker Football Club would have made it 8 if he wasn't stuck in hospital with glandular fever. Good luck, Alex. In the end, an 8-goal lead at half-time in wet conditions was enough, and at full-time it was the Eagles by 53 points.